What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Oblivion's Treasures and Secrets. Today, we'll be doing an unmarked quest and getting the Frostwyrm Bow. I recommend starting off in Cheydinhal. We'll be heading northeast from there and due east from the Shrine of Azura. We're heading for a location known as Dive Rock in order to track down the horror of Dive Rock. Now, to anyone who played Morrowind's Blood Moon DLC, some of the things in this unmarked quest are going to seem familiar. We're making a quick stop by a nearby location called Aaron's Camp to get the first part of our unmarked story. Behind a rock at Aaron's Camp, we find a dead man named Andre Labouche. Checking his body, we find Andre's note, and I quote, "Dearest Father, I know it's always been your dream to travel to Cyrodiil to climb the lofty mountains and reach the peak known as Dive Rock and gaze down at the full beauty of the Imperial Province. But I beseech you, be careful. We've both heard tales of the horror of Dive Rock, but in truth, what concerns me is your lack of grace. Oh, Father, you know it pains me to say it. You're clumsy. You always have been. You can't walk up a flight of stairs without crashing down to the bottom at least once. How can you possibly hope to scale a mountain range? Please, Father, I beg you to call off your expedition. I fear the worst. Your loving daughter, Fiona." End quote. And seeing as we found him at the bottom, well, we know what happened here. But let's continue our way up to Dive Rock. And honestly, if you have a horse, you can kind of just choose your way to the top from here. That's what I did. But upon arriving at Dive Rock, we come across a small camp with a bag labeled Agnar and Svenja's supplies and Agnar's journal. This is what it says. Entry 1. When I took on the role of Chieftain of Thirsk, when I accepted the beautiful Svenja Snowsong as my advisor and then my bride, I never imagined how quickly my life would change. I went to the Isle of Solstheim for some much-needed rest, and found it in the mead-soaked halls of Thirsk. But when I met Svenja, my sweet Svenja, I became entangled in an epic story, the likes of which I had only read about in fables and in children's tales. Svenja told me of the fateful night when a hideous creature known as the Uderfreit attacked the mead hall, killing rampantly, leaving her the only survivor. The creature was slain by a champion, and Thirsk had its new chieftain. But it wasn't long before they moved on to some new challenge, some new adventure. That's where I entered the tale. Svenja Snowsong, with her ice-blue eyes and flaxen hair, gained my love. Soon after, I became her husband, and the mead hall's new chieftain. In truth, I had never been happier. But Svenja, my dear wife, existed in quiet misery, constantly hunted by the memory of the Uderfreit, and the damage it had wrought on the mead hall and the people she had loved. Night after night, my dear woke up screaming, her face etched in horror with a single word issuing from her lips. Uderfreit. I feared for my wife's sanity and happiness, but it was she who found a solution to her problem. As a warrior, she told me, she must confront her fear. She must defeat it. The Uderfreit was dead, yes, but where did it come from? Was it unique? Would more of the creatures come and wreak havoc once again? Would I, her loving husband, be killed? And so she corresponded with explorers and researchers all across Tamriel until she found the answer she had been looking for. The Uderfreit was in fact not unique, but the offspring of an ancient Utherfreit matron. In order to end the nightmares, in order to prevent any more destruction, we would need to hunt down and kill the Utherfreit matron, no matter where or how. Entry 2. By Ysmir. We've been searching and searching and searching some more, but finally it came. The lucky break we'd been hoping for. The creature has been spotted by a shepherd in the remote highlands of Skyrim. Entry 3. We found its trail and tracked it for days, crossing the border into the Imperial province. Here, in the frigid mountains, we met with a local hunter who tried to warn us away from the area, citing the old legend about a deadly creature known as the Horror of Dive Rock, a monster credited with the slaying of over a dozen people and just as much cattle. Could this creature be the very Utherfreit matron we seek? Perhaps. Unlike its child in Solstheim, the matron moves from location to location, and it's this mobility that has thus far prevented its killing or capture. Entry 4. We've made camp at Dive Rock, reportedly the highest natural observation point in all of Cyrodiil. From here we can see for miles, so we'll keep watch, night and day. We're close, so very close. Svenja and I can feel it in our very bones. Indeed, Svenja has always been particularly in tune with such things, and is convinced the Utherfreit matron is close. Entry 5. Svenja has grown tired of my constant writing, but this journal will serve as a record of our travels and defeat against the Utherfreit. She's staring at me, angrily, impatiently, right now as I write, but this very entry is too important. Finally, on this third day of watching, we've spotted it, the Utherfreit matron. It is unlike anything we have ever laid eyes on, a giant, troll-like beast that seems to waver and shimmer in the cold, like the feral form of winter itself. We're off now to trudge down the mountain, weapons in hand, and give the horror of Dive Rock its due. Entry 6. Failure and horror. We engaged the monster with all the force we could muster, but it was a travesty beyond comprehension. Svenja, my beautiful Svenja, my dear wife, was killed instantly, consumed by the beast nearly whole. And though it shames me now to write these words, I could think of nothing more at the time than escape. I took flight, returning here to our camp on Dive Rock to collect my thoughts and nerve. I haven't much time. After this quick entry, I will march out and meet the Utherfreit matron once more. It is sure to track me back to this campsite anyway, so our confrontation is inevitable. Can I even hope to defeat this monstrosity? One thing is certain. Svenja and I came hastily, unprepared. My steel axe, useless. My dear wife's Frostwyrm Bow, completely ineffective, and swallowed whole, still in Svenja's hand. The beast appears to be a creature of the cold, and is likely nearly completely resistant to it. I would attack with fire if I had any on hand, but there is no time to travel to a mage's guild and procure an enchanted blade, or hire the services of a sorcerer. My steel axe will have to do. And so I return to battle now, and hope beyond hope that I may slay the wretched monster that has brought so much grief to so many people. And if not, I take comfort in knowing that I will soon rejoin my beautiful bride in the gilded halls of Sovngarde. If someone is reading this hastily written journal, I am likely dead, and pray to Ysmir that you have more luck against the creature than I. End quote. Now it's time to finish what they started and bring down the Utherfreit matron. and the fight against her was pretty tough. Frost attacks are ineffective. Normal weapons do a moderate amount of damage, but fire is the way to go, as he says in the journal. Or, in my case, bonking him with a shock-enchanted katana. But once he's dead, we find our unique for this video, the Frostwyrm Bow, and, unfortunately, Agnar's wife, Svenja. Now if I go a short ways away from the camp, we can also find Agnar's body. At least he had a beautiful view when he died. But anyway, let's go check out this bow. Now, my marksman skill is very low, so I could be getting more out of it. The Frostwyrm Bow is a unique elven bow that's 2 pounds lighter than its non-enchanted, non-unique counterpart. And having a fixed damage and enchantment means you can come at a low level, if you can survive. Anyway guys, let me know if you enjoy some of these more lore-heavy videos, and if you do, I'll start focusing on items with deep lore surrounding them. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, be sure to subscribe as it helps the channel grow. And I'll see you guys next time when we uncover more of Oblivion's treasures and secrets.